Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kevin.
And I'm John.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we take a long, hard look at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, and we're taking a deep dive into some of these 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
All right, everybody, we're back for the third episode of our discussion on the 1985 classic Commando.
Woo!
Starring Arnold himself.
Things are moving, Kevin.
The man, business is really about to pick up as well.
When we last saw John Matrix, he was not having a great day. His daughter had been kidnapped and was being held in exchange for his cooperation in a coup, military coup.
He needs to assassinate the president of Valverde. Of course, as every day, these things happen.
Matrix had escaped the plane that was carrying him to do the coup. Do you do the coup? You do a coup.
Count Dooku.
And was following the only man at the time who could lead him to his daughter, the utter diseased soul that is Sully.
Aw, he scooped up a flight attendant by the name of Cindy to help him on his quest here to recover his daughter.
And sort of coerced her, pressed her into service.
Yeah, he really didn't give her a lot of choice in the matter, but he's hijacked her and her vehicle.
That's right. And
they've gone to the Sherman Oaks Galleria.
That's right. And Matrix has asked Cindy to pretend like...
seduce Sully for me.
Yeah. Do you mind? And to lure him over so he can find out where his daughter is.
Uh-huh.
Instead, Cindy alerted the mall cops. And that, friends...
Lame.
That is where we're picking up.
Yep. So we got... Matrix has a small army of mall cops closing in on him.
Terrifying.
Yep. When they go to try to apprehend him, he just starts beating the holy hell out of them.
Oh, yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
But of course, Sully, who is sort of moving in on Cindy, he sees this. He gives a great expression of like disbelief.
He's dumbfounded.
He's like, Matrix.
I know you were on the plane. I saw the plane
that
take
plane
off.
Speeding down the runway.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's actually, that's how I would look too. I'd be like, what the hell?
So he's like, he says to Cindy, give me a quarter.
We get this episode's blast from the past.
Oh, payphones. That's a world of payphones.
He frantically starts looking for a quarter, grabs.
He just shoves his hand in her purse.
That's where the change is.
Give me a quarter. That's the most implausible way possible to get a quarter. He should have snatched the whole purse. Like, if I went to any woman in my life and just jammed my hand in her purse and grabbed whatever I grabbed, there's 0% chance I'm going to come out with a quarter.
So Matrix lays out the last of the initial bevy of guards and jumps this gap between the stairwell and lands in front of the phone booths.
Yeah, where Sully has gone into a phone booth. He's also got a gun.
Yeah.
He takes a pot shot in Matrix, but misses.
Thank God. Movie would have been short.
Yeah, Matrix just rips the phone booth off the wall.
This is amazing. I love this part.
It's like a big cylinder, but it is like 8 feet tall, probably.
This is his fourth feat of strength.
This is another feat of strength. Yeah, he just rips the phone booth off the wall and tosses it across like the whatever it is, the landing.
Right, and as he's about to try to get Sully out of it.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering... When he's ripping the phone booth loose, Sully's just in there, like not shooting at him for some reason. He could have, point blank, he could have hit him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He's like holding on for dear life a little bit.
Did you drop the gun?
No, he had it, but he was holding on to the edges of the thing because Matrix was shaking it so hard. I think that's why
he probably wouldn't be able to get, like, I don't know.
If he still probably could have hit him.
He probably could have touched him through the glass with the gun and hit him.
He had a chance and he missed it. He was going to rue the day that he missed his chance to kill John Matrix.
Sully dies last.
Or next.
So a bunch of guards, like 8 or 9, right? You counted? Yeah. I think I saw 8.
There's a minimum of 9.
Yeah.
that have all like they're all on him like a scrum.
Smother him.
Yeah, it's that classic movie thing.
And then and I feel like this happens in more than one Arnold movie where he flings like multiple guys.
He like
off.
comes bouncing up and he flings his arms up like
that counts as another feat of strength.
Everyone goes flying off of him.
It's like an Incredible Hulk move.
It's fully comic book shit.
Then we see the Panama hat guy with whom Sully was completing an illicit transaction, leaving the bar, brandishing a gun, not trying to sneak out of there. Like,
he could have walked away. Right? Like no one, but he doesn't know that, I guess.
Maybe he thought the cops or the mall cops were there for him. Probably.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but he's immediately confronted by police.
Real police, not mall cops, but like guys, they were in black and they had guns.
So by this time we have mall cops in brown, LAPD in black, Panama hat guy gets a shot off, kills a cop.
Yes.
But then they return fire, hit him.
He falls over the balcony.
It's a pretty sweet view of him like flipping over and the money going everywhere.
Flying everywhere from that briefcase?
Because that's what money does when it's in a briefcase.
It's all just loosely packed.
No one ever
and the briefcase is not locked.
No one ever locks the briefcase.
Why would you? It's only filled with huge
money,
amount of money.
With money. Meanwhile, Matrix is still destroying mall cops' lives.
He is. He's beating asses.
And still like feverishly looking around for Sully, who fires off another shot as he's running away.
He just takes a pot shot. He hits one of the security guards.
Another death. Poor guys.
And despite all of the gunfire, the mall cops, they're still intent on getting Matrix. Yeah. Like they're not concerned about the shooter.
Don't worry about the guy with the gun
who just killed one of our compatriots.
Oops. Yeah. So Matrix pursues Sully. Every mall cop and real cop in LA is now chasing Matrix through the mall.
This mall,
not the guy with the gun,
had no shortage of security. There were 20 different mall cops we've seen at any given moment. Like they're all, swarming on Matrix.
That's right. We see Sully get on an elevator.
Yep.
As Matrix runs, a cop yells for him to stop or he's going to shoot.
Yes.
And then we get a
hero moment from Cindy.
A hero moment from Cindy, who's apparently had a change of heart, who yells, "No!" and pushes the poor bastard down the stairs.
Yeah.
Those are mixed signals, Cindy.
I think she saw, I'm guessing that seeing Sully's reaction to seeing Matrix told her that the story Matrix is telling is true.
Or maybe she already felt such a connection with Matrix that she just didn't want to see him die. Or maybe she's like, maybe she's not a fan of gun violence.
That's true.
Really.
Matrix he's still having to fend off security guards, but he buys himself a moment of breathing room.
That's right.
And he swings across the mall on these what would you describe that thing as? Like a balloon?
He has the bright, if not physically implausible idea of swinging across the mall on a giant balloon.
What?
It's a balloon.
There's no reason to think that would hold your weight.
No.
I don't know, but he's makes
better
it work.
at math than I am.
Yeah, he swings across this thing like Tarzan, almost hits the ground, but it's perfectly timed to land on top of the elevator on the other side of the mall atrium.
Matrix is good at maths, I think, is what we take from this.
Yeah, he's been spending a lot of time studying those matrices.
He built his own house.
He did. He's an architect. And at any rate,
he's good with numbers and figures, science and progress.
So yeah, he manages to land on top of the elevator. But then
that Sully is in.
Yeah, that Sully is inside of. Right. It goes down to the parking deck level, I guess. And and Sully exits. Matrix jumps off the roof and is sort of still chasing after him.
I love during all this that Cindy did what Sully probably should have done and would have avoided a lot of conflict, and that was just take the stairs. Matrix wouldn't have been able to get to him. No, he didn't. Yeah, the plan is whatever. Everyone knows that mall elevators, too, are the slowest fucking elevators on the planet.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember going to North Point or Perimeter in the North Metro in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Those elevators were slow.
They just move slow, or they had to stop at every floor?
There are multiple floors, and you're always getting on with families of 12 and ladies with baby strollers.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But you're not getting where you're going fast.
For Sully's, in Sully's defense, he was alone in there. He managed to make it work.
That doesn't matter. The elevator compensates.
But yeah, so Matrix has to fight his way through a couple of more security guards while Sully hops in his Porsche. Matrix runs out into the deck.
He makes it out
Sully
just
is
in
driving
time.
off. Sully hits him with the car and he sort of flips up over the hood.
Some stuntman anyway.
Some stuntman, not necessarily Arnold, but some stuntman portraying John Matrix.
You got to be more careful with that Porsche though, right?
That's a performance machine.
And Matrix is like, fuck it, I'm stealing Cindy's car.
I don't know how he had the keys, but good for him that he had them.
He probably kept them.
He took them
earlier.
when they
were getting out. He was like, yeah, so you don't get away. Sully, unsurprisingly, does not slow down to pay his parking fee.
Does he crash right through the gate?
He crashes right through the gate.
With Matrix close behind.
Matrix in hot pursuit.
Now, this is where this moment gets me.
That's right.
You don't Cindy's exiting the mall on the street, and she's running down the stairs like, hey, stop. And Matrix stops and picks her up. I can't imagine a world in which Matrix is going to stop to get her. And B, I can't imagine a world in which she wants to keep on going. Like, this was her chance to be free of this.
I understand that.
Like, whatever. It's just, but we need her.
It's implausible.
She is integral to the rest of the plot,
exactly,
so we need her.
Exactly. And maybe Matrix is aware of the fact that there are going to be times when I've got to have somebody backing me up.
Maybe, yeah. He likes to work alone, though. He strikes me as that kind of guy, but at any rate.
But also, he had a unit of guys, so he knew
he's used to being on a tool. A unit of out-of-shape guys. So I can see how he can take on a young flight attendant and turn her into like an elite killer.
Absolutely. I think so.
Sure.
The night is young. There's lots of time.
Right. He's got like probably at least 9 hours left
to turn her into a killing machine.
Exactly. So he stops for whatever reason. He decides it's a good idea to stop and pick her up.
She immediately starts berating him with a litany of grievances. Yes. You steal my car.
She runs through literally everything that we just saw happen.
She basically fills us like, if you're not familiar with what's happened in the movie so far,
it's like
go
that
back
thing
and
of,
just watch this scene.
If you're visually impaired, here's what you just missed.
Exactly. It's great. And then she says, are you going to tell me what's going on or what?
And he says, no. But he's literally had told her what's going on.
He's already told her the entire situation with the exception of the fact that there's a military coup going on. Or an attempted coup. He said
exactly what's going on.
Former friend double-crossed. Check. Daughter's been kidnapped. Check.
They want me to do a job.
I need this guy to find her. Yeah. Check. That's it.
That's all she needs to know.
I've told you everything. Anyway.
100%. I'm with you.
A nighttime car chase ensues because that's what needs to happen.
Her car, what was it again?
It's an Alpine, Sunbeam Alpine, which is like the happiest name of a car maybe ever.
It's somehow able to keep up with the Porsche 911. At first, it made me wonder if Sully didn't know that they were behind him, but there's enough commotion that he's looking a little bit over his shoulders. He knows.
Well, here's what I posit as being a possible explanation for that. Okay. We should let people know that the Sunbeam Alpine topped out at 95 miles an hour, and the Porsche 911 in that year would go 165. So it was not a contest of engine power at all. But I'm wondering if maybe like Sully had sustained a head injury or something during the phone booth.
He does seem to be keep touching his head.
He's touching his head and he looks a little groggy, and so I'm wondering if that's like impairing his driving.
I'd buy that he could maybe keep up in the crowded streets, but then once they got out there on like the Pacific Coast Highway or wherever they were, open road,
right?
The Porsche would leave the Alpine behind.
Yeah, but if you're like groggy and
swerving
at yourself,
gotcha.
Then that's
that's the only explanation for this.
Otherwise, he's going to leave them so far behind. There's no way they'd catch up. I mean,
the thing is, you could have also had him get a flat tire or something where he's riding on rims. And there were ways you could have done it.
They didn't want to hurt that car.
That's true. I think they had a deposit. They wanted the deposit back on that car. They
needed to return that car, and I get it because that car is fucking beautiful.
Yeah. So anyway, he somehow manages to run Sully down.
Yeah.
And they're he's smashing each other up on the
PCH.
road.
They start ramming each other. Sully's doing the same, and then he starts shooting and not hitting anything.
And in my mind, when I'm seeing those scenes, all of a sudden that car didn't quite look like the same Porsche anymore.
Right.
I think it was probably like a dummy car.
It may have been also the lighting because they were going under like street lamps and stuff.
Yeah, that could be it. At any rate, I don't think they wrecked the real hero Porsche.
No.
But yeah, Matrix runs Sully's car
right,
sort of off the road up onto an embankment, and it rolls onto its side. And man, Matrix plows the Alpine into a telephone
Why
pole.
wouldn't he brake?
I mean, he might have tried, but they were, how fast do you think they were going when they hit it? 40?
I mean, like 50 max around those turns and stuff.
I think he was trying to slow down. I mean, it was a practical car crash.
Yeah,
but
it looked cool, but fuck.
He was probably going at least 40 miles an hour head on into a telephone pole.
R.I.P. Sunbeam Alpine.
Maybe, just maybe, Matrix put a seatbelt on, but
she didn't.
Cindy was just sitting on the bare floorboard because Matrix had ripped the seat out in the last.
Kevin,
and she would have been through the windshield of that car. She would have been dead.
Shut up and enjoy the Die Hard.
So, but they worked that all out real quickly because Matrix just turns to her and he's like, "Are you okay?"
And done. That's it. She says, "I think I'm dead."
She says, "I think I'm dead." And he's like, "You're okay," and hops out.
That's great. That's a great exchange.
Yeah, it is nice. He goes, Matrix drags Sully out of the Porsche.
Yeah. And immediately starts rooting around. He finds a key to the Sunspot Motel room number 5. And he asks Sully where Ginny is, and Sully does not want to play ball.
Matrix is roughing him up against the car.
Yeah.
Telling him, tell me where they've taken Jenny.
I love this bit. Sully's lines were great.
Sully's something like, I'm not telling you shit or something. And Matrix, roughs him up a little bit more. And it's like, you're going to talk to me. The fucking Sully. You got to give him credit for having heart.
Yeah.
He's like, let me repeat myself. Get fucked.
I like Matrix's response though. Listen, your loyalty is very touching, but it's not the most important thing in your life right now. Uh-huh. But what is important is gravity.
And he scoops him up like a child and carries him over to the edge of the road, which is a sheer
Sully's not a big
drop-off.
guy, yeah. And literally holding him by one foot.
Yeah, I think on set they had him, on a crane as well or a wire, but I think physically Schwarzenegger would have been capable of doing that. It's
absolutely
just not worth it.
Because probably the guy, like Sully weighs maybe 140.
Yeah, he's a little guy.
And Schwarzenegger, I have no doubt, could hold could hold that much weight in one hand.
Easily.
Straight out. For a limited time at least. For long enough to film that.
And he's also he's seriously taunting Sully.
This is great.
He's got him in his left arm and he's tapping his bicep and he's like, "I've got to tell you, Sully, this is my weak arm."
That's so funny.
Coming from that guy, that was one of the funniest lines that really worked.
Sully says he doesn't know where Ginny is, but that Cook knows, throwing Cook under the bus, bastard, and that he'll take Matrix to where he's supposed to meet him.
And so Matrix is like, "No, you won't." And Sully's like, "Why not?" And he's like, "Because I already know." And he waves that hotel room key. Yeah.
And then this exchange.
A classic for the movie.
You do Matrix, I'll be Sully.
All right. So Matrix says, "Remember, Sully, when I promised to kill you last?"
That's right, Matrix. You did.
I lied. And he drops him, and there's a great scream. Great Sully scream.
Thus perished Sully.
There's the Wilhelm scream. There should be the Sully scream.
That's a good scream.
Also, he was like, la, la, la! That's awesome.
So down one auto,
yep.
Matrix decides to flip the Porsche back on its wheels.
That's right. Oh, and Cindy asks, "What'd you do with Sully?" "I let him go."
A good kiss off line. So many.
That was a good one. There were good ones in this movie.
There really are. Well, I Lied was a good one. I Let Him Go is a good one.
Do you think that I Lied when he drops him off the cliff, is that the most iconic moment for this movie?
It's the one that I've heard people quote the most. But no, and also I Let Him Go. This scene in general is the one that I've heard more people quote than any others.
I don't know that they knew it when they were making the movie, but yeah, this is kind of like the sequence of the movie.
That's
Even
amazing.
The whole mall shootout and then car chase to this is like the standout sequence probably for the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it looks amazing. It's great.
It's
practical
incredible.
Effects. So yeah, he knocks the Porsche down. It's a little worse for wear on that side that it
for him now
scuffed up. And then as soon as they start driving, it's fine. It's
miraculously repaired on that side.
Well, he believes in Jesus, so he's a fast healer. So the scene cuts to Arias, Bennett, and Jenny arriving via boat at Arias's compound. Yep. And this particular shot, we should mention, of the compound, the house like way back on the hill and all the buildings and stuff in the foreground on the beach and stuff is like the Hearst estate. And that's like way back there is Hearst Castle.
Yeah, that property is incredible.
Have you ever been out there?
I have.
You have
You
been?
got to go. Yeah.
That's what I've heard. I've heard the swimming pool alone is like worth the price
it's
of
like
admission.
All that kind of like Roman and Greek marble like cherubs and stuff like that. But yeah, it's incredible.
William Randolph would not have liked us because we imbibe. Speaking of imbibing.
Oh, what are we drinking?
I'm drinking some Woodford Reserve.
I'm on the same Woodford Reserve.
Oh,
classic
cheers.
bourbon.
Cheers. Cheers to you guys. We encourage you to grab a libation if you so desire.
Yeah.
It'll grease the gears and make this go by better.
It makes these movies so much more enjoyable.
It makes us funnier.
In our own minds.
Yeah.
But I'm shocked that they gave them access to that property to film this type of thing where there are explosions and pyro and everything. But it's a massive property. Yeah, I suggest anyone who's in that area on the Pacific Coast Highway, go check it out. It's like worth whatever they charge you for the tour. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
They let you roam around the house a little bit afterwards.
That's cool.
And it's kind of like if you live on the East Coast, there's the Biltmore House.
I love the Biltmore House.
This is like Biltmore House on steroids, or Biltmore House in like a more picturesque setting.
Okay.
Yeah, incredible.
Man, Asheville is no slouch either. That's high praise. I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the trip.
So that's really it of all of the bad guys and Jenny is them pulling up to the pier. We cut back to Matrix and Cindy driving, and he apologizes. I like this. He's like, "I'm sorry for getting you involved."
Yep.
So, and then he acquiesces in like breaking things down.
Yeah, he
slower,
explains to her again what's going on.
Yeah, the bad guys have kidnapped Jenny to force him to do a job, and he knows they'll kill her either way. So his only hope is to rescue her.
I think he's probably actually right.
I know. I totally agree.
I think at the time I'm like, I mean, I get that he doesn't want to do the job, but also just that he's on a killing rampage. Like, but maybe he does recognize, like, even if he succeeds, they're going to kill her.
He knows
and probably
what kind
try
of
to kill
people,
him too.
He knows what kind of people he's dealing with. And when you first see Arius deliver the line that like your father's cooperating and you'll be together soon. Like he delivers it. Dan Hedaya delivers that line. It's almost genuine.
Yeah.
But you get the feeling that it's like this guy, what we know of him, he's a cutthroat murderer. So
yes.
Jenny, it doesn't matter. Jenny's going to die. And then we get this line.
Oh, my guy. My Arnold, he just says, this is such a quotable line. All that matters to me now is Jenny.
Oh,
he's a loving father.
We cut back immediately to Arius's compound, and Arius and the others are pulling up to a mansion, not Hearst Castle.
Not Hearst Castle, yeah. I think it was a mansion like in Malibu or in Beverly Hills or something.
Someone said, I read somewhere that it was like the mansion from Green Acres.
I read the same thing, and I did the research, and that's not accurate.
Okay, so don't quote us on that.
Yeah, it's
Internet,
like
you bastard.
I know, it's like... What's up with
this
internet?
What are we supposed to believe? So anyway, we also see flying at the house what is supposed to be the Valverde flag for the first time.
Yeah, a weird flag.
They take Jenny into a salon and lock her in. All the exits are sort of boarded up.
Yeah, there's a bunch of doors and windows, but they're all boarded.
It's a nice room. But in this scene, she really brings the emotion. She seems genuinely upset.
As well, she should be.
Yeah.
She probably knows as well as Matrix does that her life's she's hanging by a thread.
She's mini Matrix. She knows what's up.
Mini Matrix. I love it.
Another cut finds Matrix and Cindy pulling up at the Sunspot Motel.
I found myself thinking, like, he took a risk dropping Sully because he's got that key doesn't mean that that's necessarily the place where he's supposed to meet Cook.
Right.
That could have just been, this is where I'm sleeping tonight, but I'm supposed to meet Cook at this bar in, Malibu or something, like whatever. But at any rate, luckily enough for them and simply enough for this plot, it is the right place.
Do you think that if the Sunspot Motel had not been the right answer to that question, that Sully would have said, wait, no, that's not the right place when he showed him the key? He should have
said it either way. But yeah, probably he would have said, no, that's not it when he waved the key in his face. Yeah.
Anyway, Sully's dead. Doesn't matter. The Sunspot looks dope. I would stay there. It looks like someone spent some money to make it look pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like I read somewhere that it's no longer there, which is really sad.
I read somewhere that they built it, that it was a set just fabricated just for this movie. Oh. But that really would defy belief. There's plenty of motels where you can shoot this thing.
They pull up to the motel. Matrix checks his watch, just under 8 hours left.
Yep.
Getting close. Cindy gets out of the car, which surprises Matrix. And I like this because she bolts out and Matrix is sort of like taken aback. And he's like, what are you doing? And she says she's coming with him to help, which is awesome.
Yeah, she's bought in now.
He's got a teammate.
She's invested. She's seen the wallet picture of Jenny.
Right.
So she's fully on board now. She's willing to risk her life.
That's right. They head to room number 5, and Matrix slowly and quietly opens the door.
Yep.
But the room is empty. They begin to search for clues. Meanwhile, outside, we see Cook roll up in a badass Cadillac Eldorado.
That's like baby blue. I feel like that is the world's largest two-door car. It was a land yacht.
Oh my God, it is. It's so sexy, though.
It was a thing of beauty, yeah. Probably gets all of like 12 miles a gallon.
The least practical car maybe ever.
I know, right? I love that it's a two-door.
Cook comes up to the door and knocks.
Yeah, Matrix knows it's Cook somehow, or maybe it's just a lucky guess.
Smelled him downwind.
Oh, he smelled him coming.
He tells Cindy to mess up the bed.
He starts running a shower in the other room.
And then he comes out and he rips her blouse just slightly, tastefully, and tells her to pretend that she's had a good time with Sully.
Yep. So she goes and opens the door. That's like quick thinking from Matrix in that moment.
I agree.
Yeah. So she goes and she opens the door, given like these sort of sultry looks.
I love this. Where Cook asks her who she is, and she says, room service. Gives this like little wow.
She has told him that Sully's in the shower. He says, let me in. She does. And Matrix like sucker punches him. He's been hiding behind the door. Yeah, taps him on the shoulder when he turns around. Bam, right in the face.
As Cook rises, he swings around with a gun in his hand. He's got like a 38.
Yeah, a little snub nose.
Yeah, a little 6-shooter. Contact with Matrix makes a shot go off. So if my math is right, that's 5 shots left.
Yep.
They wrestle for the gun. 2 more shots go off.
That's 3 shots left.
And then they seriously ruin the room's aesthetic, punching through a portion of a glass brick wall.
Yeah, that was an odd decor in the room. It was these glass bricks. There was neon lighting.
Odd but common decor of the 80s.
Yeah.
The gun somehow gets tossed. The two start fighting hand to hand.
That's a good exchange.
Yeah, you take this.
Well, I'll be Cook. He's like, you scared, motherfucker? You should be. Because this green beret is going to kick your ass.
I eat green berets for breakfast, and right now I'm really hungry. I love Cindy's little interjection. We talked a little bit about this one in the first episode, where this movie, like, it sort of it presents lines to comment on itself as if to say, we know this is over the top. We realize it is. So Cindy interjects saying, as if speaking for the woke of the 80s, she's like, I can't believe this macho bullshit.
I love her delivery.
I do too.
She's awesome.
Yes.
They fight on some more, and she's like, oh, these guys eat too much red meat. I think she improv those lines, or I think they told her they gave her like a list of lines and told her to shoot them out there.
I love it.
She crushed it. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. She had great delivery. Cook falls, but he somehow got the gun back, like right in the corner where it was.
Right.
He gets another shot off, which would be misses Matrix because he does a somersault behind the bed. And then as he gets up, he sort of like vaults himself towards him. And as they're like flying through a door, another shot goes off.
Okay.
What's on the other side of the door?
Gratuitous nudity is on the other side of the door.
Boobies!
There's like a couple in there shooting a porno in the next room. There's like a light set up and a camera on a tripod.
Fucking California.
California. Man, yeah, there's just, in these movies of this ilk, that was the common thread, was you got to have just some boobies in there.
And then after they've flown through the door, when Cook hits the ground that last time, a 6th shot goes off.
Okay, so he's spent.
Yeah, he's spent, but under better circumstances, he'd have Matrix dead to rights.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately.
He stands up. He's like lost count of his bullets, I guess. He points that gun at Matrix. He breaks the
cardinal rule of these movies, Kevin.
What's that?
Don't give in to hubris.
Oh, hubris got him.
It says, fuck you, asshole.
And then it's click. And that Matrix is like, fuck you, asshole.
That's a pretty good. I like that exchange.
You did like that?
Yeah, I like. Okay. Arnold's like, fuck you. Just that little bit of aggression.
They fight a little bit more in the room, like much to the dismay of the naked woman.
That's right. Poor thing.
And Matrix like throws him sort of back through the doorway
by his dick.
Really? Did he scoop him
He
up?
like does a cook, like cock grab or something. Like
grab Cook by the cock.
Chucks
Him
will.
through the door. He lands on it must be a table leg.
Yeah, something is broken.
It impaled him. Like right through his chest. It's a pretty gruesome way to go.
So he's no longer in any position to divulge any meaningful or valuable information.
Is the idea of there being like adjoining rooms with a door that joins two hotel rooms together, is that still a thing that's common?
I've seen it.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if that's still normal.
I don't know if it's in newer hotels, but in hotels in the recent past, especially where like it's one party booking more than one room.
Yeah, you'd ask for adjoining rooms and you could sort of walk freely between the rooms. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure if that's still a normal thing, but it was definitely like standard in the 80s and 90s.
I don't think it's so much common now.
Yeah.
Can't corroborate. Do not work in the industry. Let us know if you do.
Yeah, right.
So Cook, RIP. Actually, fuck you. We don't care. They take they take the.
Was that your sign? Was that your like sign off for Cook?
Yeah.
All right. Cold blooded. I like it.
They take the keys to his sweet ride.
Yep.
And start searching the car.
Yes.
What do they find?
Cindy finds in the glove box there's an invoice for aviation fuel. She knows this, of course, because she's getting her pilot's license, and this is the same exact company that her instructor uses.
Jesus Christ. All right. I love that she's an empowered 80s woman, and she's like working and hustling, and like she wants to become a pilot because they make sweet money. But
yep.
The fuck? This is what the fuck?
I felt like of all the things that happened in this movie, this is one of the more plausible moments.
Shit. God. I can get on board with that.
But they figure, all right, maybe Arius must have a plane. Let's go to the address of the company that's listed on the invoice, and we'll see what we can dig up over there.
That makes as much sense as anything else that's happened so far in the movie.
So I think, in my mind, they should have kept rolling in the Porsche. Just because that's such a sweet car.
I have OCD to an extent, so the fact that it's all scraped up would drive me crazy.
Oh, well, Arnold's reasoning is, let's take Cook's car. He won't be needing it.
Kiss offline.
This one's like, Arnold's making it work. He's like finding his stride.
He is.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is. Their clue leads them to...
Oh, wait, they burn rubber out of the hotel parking lot, like Arnold keeping a low profile in this land yacht.
It's beautiful. White walls. It's gorgeous. And it leads them straight to Patria Enterprises, right? Which is interesting. Patria
is Spanish, right?
Yeah, means homeland in both Spanish and Italian. Mm-hmm. Yay, Romance languages. Matrix thinks, interestingly enough, that this must be the same place where he was being held earlier in the day.
I don't know why.
I don't either.
He might have seen when they drove him away.
Maybe. I saw a big aluminum building. I don't get it.
I saw there was a warehouse.
Yeah, so I love that he walks up to the gate and just like rips a fucking chain and padlock apart.
He's just, it's padlocked with chain.
Feet of
strength. He just grabs it and just, rips the chain apart. Why not?
They should do a Mythbusters. I don't think that's going to come back positive for Arnold. Yeah. Matrix tells Cindy to wait for his signal and does a very Matrix thing and climbs up a drain pipe up the side of a building and loudly rips off part of the building to crawl through.
And inside this, like, there's a small army that's preparing for war.
I like this shot though, because it was a very like Nazis in an Indiana Jones movie level of heightened activity, like looking down at all of them. You know what I mean? It's
like that bit in Wayne's World where he it's like, wait, let me show you something. And he opens the door and there's just like ninja training happening behind the door.
Yes.
And then he's like, I just always wanted to do that. Like open a door and there's an army.
Matrix shimmies down a wall, scurries past some crates marked in English, shipped to Valverde.
Nice.
Class 7 explosives. Should it have been bilingual? Where are they getting all this gear, Kevin?
I think that's what I'm saying. The fact that all this prep for
tank in there. There's a tank in there.
Is happening in the middle of Los Angeles makes me feel like the U.S. government has got to be assisting in this thing, which was not uncommon. Like you overthrow one regime, then you overthrow another regime. And
we've been at it
we
for
used to be allies
60 years.
We were allies with bin Laden.
Yep.
In Afghanistan.
This is rough. It's hitting a little close to home.
But at any rate, it's boggles the mind that this is all happening, though, in Los Angeles, which is an 11-hour flight away from Valverde.
Yeah, he crawls under a tank that's got the Valverde insignia sprayed on it.
Nice.
There are goons carrying boxes and running around in the middle. There's a guy weirdly just like rubbing down a cannon.
Of course.
Is that necessary maintenance?
I would think I don't know. I don't know, man. I've never owned a cannon.
What was the direction there? Guys, look busy with the supplies. And that one guy was like, I'll shine this cannon, I guess.
Make yourselves busy, probably, is the thing.
Matrix continues to sneak around until he finds an office.
He's looking for Jenny, right?
Yeah, I get the feeling that he's looking for Jenny.
Okay, she's not there.
Yeah, he hears voices. He ducks into a different room adjacent to this door as these insurgent guys pass. He sneaks in where we see another familiar face from the 90s. If you were a fan of the show Renegade, you recognize Branscombe Richmond as he played Bobby. And Bobby
I never watched that show.
Bobby was like Reno. It came on.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was a good show. It's about this guy he was a former cop who'd been. It was sort of a fugitive scenario. He'd been framed for murder by other cops that he was trying to turn in for being unsavory characters, but they killed his wife and framed him for it. And so now he's on the lam trying to like do the A-team thing, basically.
He's like a soldier of fortune.
Yeah, exactly. And so Bobby, this guy is his sidekick. Anyway, Arnold kicks the shit out of him.
Arnold, he beats him up, stuffs him in a closet.
That's where bodies go. And opens the window and tells Cindy to climb through.
Yeah. They do like a little bit of recon in the room. They're in the headquarters, it seems.
Yeah. The administrative office of this building of Patria Enterprises.
I love this moment, dude.
Yeah, I know you do.
They're fishing through all the papers there. Like Arnold sees a map and he grabs a protractor or something.
And a ruler.
But like, man, watching Matrix study that map is like when they give a paintbrush to a chimp and they put him in front of a canvas. It's like he may start painting on the canvas, but it doesn't know what it's doing. No. It's just pawing at whatever's in front of it.
And so he does some quick calculations. Of
course.
And he says there's something going on at this island.
Yeah, which is off the coast of Santa Barbara, he says. That's like up around where there's the Channel Islands, Catalina Island, like off the central coast of California.
Given the visible coordinates on the map, there are a lot of guys on the internet say that the island that he miraculously found would have actually been more like 90 to 100 miles off the coast of like Santa Barbara. It was like nowhere near where he would have found it on that map.
And meanwhile, Cindy has found a photograph of an amphibian airplane.
Jesus Christ.
And she's like, this could be used to fly to an island. Okay. And it's like all the pieces are coming together, baby.
Why was it at like an auto trader for seaplanes?
It should have been something that it should have been registration papers for the plane. It's a photograph of an airplane.
Checks out.
Yeah,
let's go get them.
It wasn't like a registration or any proof that anyway.
But that immediately clues them in to cross-check the invoice that they found earlier.
Yes.
And that confirms,
of course,
that the fuel.
Cindy's like, type 4 fuel is amphibian. How does she know this? We don't know.
She's getting her pilot's license.
Is that part of to get your license, the different fuel types?
I feel like you have to.
Maybe so.
And that it was recently gassed up at Pacific Pier in San Pedro.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, let's get to that place. And that must be where they're keeping the airplane.
Right. So they sneak out of Patria.
My reaction to all this is just like, sure, why not? Yeah. It makes as much sense as anything else has.
It's like, how far along are we in the movie? So they sneak out of Patria Enterprises, and Cindy asks if they're going to the plane. Matrix says, not yet.
We're going. Where are we going?
Where are we going, Kevin?
Shopping.
Oh.
And they drive off. We can only imagine what Matrix's idea of shopping is.
It's not Kroger.
It's not Kroger. Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to be fucking radical.
Home Depot.
No, he's got to get some tools, though.
I guess we'll have to let everyone know what kind of tools in the next exciting episode of 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, because we're at time.
We're at time, but we'll be back.